Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. You've all seen the news that's been dominating the networks about the Silicon Bank collapsing. I thought I'd do a video about it to sort of join the dots and to see how this could inadvertently affect men around the world and especially MGTOWs. Now I'm quite fond of the, the butterfly effect, whereas the flap of a butterfly wing in one part of the world can have a cascading effect that affects a whole planet. Well, this banking system could, in a way, affect the dating market and single men and MGTOWs as a whole as the economy contracts. So, looking around yesterday, I found this. This is the CNN. It's about the banking collapse. It's Silicon Bank collapsed Friday morning after a stunning 48 hours in which the bank run and a capital crisis led to the second largest failure of a financial institution in US history. Now, Forbes also came onto it, 12th of March, which was yesterday. Investors wiped out as a bank run causes collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. And the key points are its collapse, leaving many companies in the startup and tech sector worried about whether they'll be able to make payroll this week, which means a lot of men and women will be probably laid off. It means looking for a job. It comes as a result of a run on the bank in which liquidity, i.e. money, crunch, meaning Silicon Valley Bank was unable to access cash to meet withdrawals. In other words, a run on the bank. And Treasury Secretary Yellen, i.e. Jewish, has run on a full-scale bailout saying that, quote, we're not going to do that again. And it's been crazy. And the news has spread over here to Europe. This is Euro News. Silicon Valley Bank collapse, fears of a financial crisis after bank used by the US tech sector fails. US regulators rushed to seize control of assets of Silicon Valley Bank on Friday after a run on the bank, the largest failure in the financial institution since the height of the financial crisis more than a decade ago. And it goes on about it. However, this is not a new thing because some people have seen this coming. As looking around, I found this in the Atlantic. Now, this was done on July-August 2020. As you can see, the looming bank collapse. The US financial system could be on the cusp of calamity. This time, we might not be able to save it. And the first paragraph. After months of living on the coronavirus pandemic, American citizens are aware of the toll this has taken on the economy. Broken supply chain, record unemployment, failing small businesses. We've all seen it in everywhere that we live. All of these factors are serious and could mire the United States in a deep, prolonged recession. But there's another threat to the economy. It lurks on the balance sheets of the big banks, and it could be cataclysmic. Imagine if, in addition to the uncertainty surrounding the pandemic, you woke up one morning to find the financial sector had collapsed. That's here. This could be the first domino in the whole banking system going belly up. Now, what's that to do with MGTOW? Well, on the New York Post, 1st of March, about 2 weeks ago, I found this. Young men reveal that so many of them are single. Dates feel more like job interviews. They're single, they're not mingling. Dates feel more like job interviews now, much more like what you can do for me and where this is going, said Ian Bestro, 28-year-old high school teacher who lives in Astoria. And the overall picture is if a woman is going to go on a date with a man, chances are it's not for a casual thing. Especially if the woman is kind of getting close to 30, i.e. she's approaching the wall. She's thinking about the biological clock and wants to have a family. And he's the guy, and he goes more examples of guys going on dates and seeing it like a job interview. Mike M, 25-year-old in Queens, that could be in New York. It's his, not opposite sex, social skills that are still battling a bad case of COVID. I definitely can't walk into a room and go to talk to someone I'm interested in that I used to be able to. It feels like my outgoingness has suffered from atrophy. He's also having less sex than he did in the pre-pandemic. Well, we've got the banking collapse. We've got guys thinking dates are like job interviews. Women are getting pushy. But the cherry on the cake, I found this in Forbes. This was done 11th of January this year. If there is a recession in 2023, some cities could take a decade to recover. Now that's all women's apparel. They're going out of business. Women's clothing stores are going out of business. The Fed efforts to slow inflation seem to be working at least a little bit. Unfortunately, this slowdown in economic activity will likely come at a cost. According to Bloomberg's December 22 survey, there's a 70% chance of a recession in 2023. Well, I should say that with this, it's just notched up a few percentage points. The recession may necessarily be to tame inflation, but research shows the harms of recession do not distribute equally. In some cities, it may be a decade or more before their economies get back on track. Employers created 223,000 jobs in December, down from 256,000 in November and 263,000 in October. Now, with this, are there going to be people being laid off as this cascades through the economy? Because if Silicon Bank goes belly up, who's the next one to go belly up? We all remember what happened in 2008. If they hadn't acted and the government bailing them out, then the whole sort of financial system could just go tits up. Now, young men can survive on their own. Young guys can turn their hands at a lot of things. Women cannot. Women like to go in office jobs. Office jobs are generally the first thing to be cut back when you get a recession. Women find out that they can't manage. Where have all the good men gone? Women get more picky. Women want guys to bail them out. Young guys feel that the dates are going on feel like a job interview for the woman to bail her out. Guys start learning of the MGTOW philosophy. Guys start saying, I'm going my own way. All these strong independent women have to manage on their own. And that makes the recession even worse. The banking collapse. You may think such a crisis is unlikely with memories of the 2008 crash still so fresh, but banks learned few lessons from the calamity, and new laws intended to keep them from taking on too much risk have failed to do so. As a result, you could be on the precipice of another crash. Here. One different from 2008 in less than a kind of degree, this one could be worse. And then it explains it more. I'll naturally put all the links below. Just as easy mortgages fueled economic growth in the 2000s, cheap corporate debt, which this one did, financing all the startups, has done so in the past decade. Many companies have binged on it. So, unless you work in finance, you probably haven't heard of CLOs, but according to some estimates, the CLO market is bigger than the subprime market. CDO market was in its heyday. And then it goes down, giving you all the details about it. But the big thing is, this was predicted in 2020. 3 years later, we get that. women wanting a guy as an ATM because it feels like a job interview. And it looks like we're on the first stage of a coming recession. MGTOW guys will survive, women won't. Women will have to lower the standards, and things could go back to the way they were before, when feminism is just an idea, but feminism has done women a great disservice, and this shop that's selling women's clothes is feeling the consequences. I think I'll do a bit more this next week if I find some more about it, but for now I think I'm on the 10-minute mark now. Sorry it's a bit iffy, but this banking collapse has dominated the news, and I couldn't really find much on the web regarding MGTOW besides what I've just shown you. Right, people, you know the routine, like, comment, etc. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, or I might do a Star Wars one on Sunday. That's it for now. Bye-bye.